Hi everyone, welcome to Make It Happen. I'm Geoffrey and today I'm going to show you how I built this vintage industrial looking TV stand almost only with pallet wood. Alright, so first I started to make the framework of the furniture with some square sections. So I cut them to length and squared them up at the right thickness with my jointer and planer. Then I cut some grooves on the square sections that will be on the back of the furniture. These grooves will welcome a thin panel of medium which will be a light back for this cabinet. With all these cuts done, I could now start to see the overall shape that the furniture will get at the end. After this, I set the framework aside and started to cut all the boards that I needed for the side, bottom and top of the furniture. I ripped cut all the board with the jigs that I have made in the previous video. I choose to use this jig instead of my jointer because my jointer blades weren't really working well at that time. So my first idea was to make the edges of the board flat on both sides, glue them all together in a panel and then use my hand planer to make the panel flat. Eventually I could fix my jointer and sharpen my blades, creating a 3D printed jig that you can see on my last video. So after that I cut all the boards at the right length and I eventually decided to give them a pass through my jointer and planer to make the assembly easier later on. Then I started to glue 6 small panels, 2 for the sides, 2 for the shelves and 2 for the doors. Off camera, I also glued 2 additional panels for the inner walls of the cabinet. Then I started to hand plane all these panels. Even though I put some weight on it while the glue was drying, not all the boards were aligned and I needed to go through this time-consuming step to get something clean. Then I made some wood filler with sawdust and white glue to fill all the nail holes. After this, it was time to start some assemblies, so I decided to use dowels for it. You can see here that I am using a dowel jig. First, it helps you to drill at the center of your edge, and then you can use small pins given with the jig that you can insert in the holes that you've previously done. You can thus mark the piece of wood that will come in front of the first one. Finally, you can drill a hole on this piece, being careful of drilling at half the depth of the dowel length. You can see here that I am using a piece of tape to be sure that I don't overdrill. I used the dowels on the four edges of my sideboards to assemble them with the square sections that I cut before. Then I also used dowels between this short square section and the others that are longer. I then did some dry fit assembly. It's always nice to do it before gluing, this way you can make some adjustments if necessary. I didn't glue all together at once. I first started to glue the top and bottom frames respectively, and then the sideboards with their vertical square sections. I had to put some weight on these panels while tightening them to prevent them from bending. Then I cut a thin board of MDF to be the back of the furniture. And once again I did some dry fit and adjustments. I especially did a bevel on the back with my hand plane because it didn't want to go in the groove. I eventually ended up making the groove wider with another pass on the table saw, and then I assembled and glued the back, the bottom and the side all together. I then prepared the inside walls, first by making more square sections and then assembling them with the leftover panels that I did. Now it was time to make the floor of the furniture. I chose to make two long square sections on which I would glue and screw all my slats. Here again, I had to use my hand plane to get a clean surface. Then I connected the floor and the framework with some screws between the long square sections under the floor and the framework itself. I then could assemble the inner walls with the floor using some screws. Don't get confused, the cabinet is here upside down. Then I proceeded for the top the exact same way that I have done for the floor. The top and the framework didn't fit at the first shot, so once again I made some adjustments with my hand plane to get a good fit. I eventually succeeded to make it fit, but I realized that I missed something like half a board at the end of the floor. So I took some measurement and added what was missing. Okay, now I could finally assemble the top part. But before this, I had to cut some small grooves with a chisel, otherwise I wouldn't be able to close the top. Indeed, the inner walls touched the hidden square section that I used for the top floor, so that's why I needed to make these grooves. Here you might understand a little bit better what I meant. Then I could finally glue the top to the rest of the furniture. Once again, I filled up some nail hole with some putty and I did some adjustments with my hand plane and my belt sander. Then I sanded the entire thing, first with the belt sander with an 80 grain. Then with my vibrating sander at 120 grain. And I eventually finished with a 240 grain. After this, I slightly wet the wood to raise the wood fibers up, and I finished a slight hand sanding at a 240 grain. Then it was time to paint the framework. So first I masked the areas that I didn't want to paint. It was such a long process to do this because you need to be quite accurate when you put the tape. I regretted that I didn't paint the frame separately to avoid losing this time. First I wanted to paint at the end in case I needed to do some adjustments with my belt sander after assembling all together. I think that next time I will manage to make everything fit before gluing up so that I can paint separately. I had to paint several coats, especially for the back, which is kind of a smooth white surface. I wasn't sure that it would be a great idea to sand it, so I didn't do it. But yeah, maybe it was a mistake and I had to make several passes to make it really black. Then I applied some tung oil to protect the wood. I didn't choose yet how would be the middle compartment, so I decided to make another shelf and reinforce it as well as the other shelves and doors because these had actually been bending while drying. And here are the doors and shelves that I am reinforcing. After a few days drying in the shop, I could see that there were many gaps in between the slats. So even though I already did the finish, I decided to fill up these holes. I did the same mix than usually and I added some black paint. I think that it still matches with the industrial and rustic look of the furniture. Obviously, I had to sand it again and apply some oil as well. I used the thick plastic tape to avoid damaging the paint while I was sanding it. Then I made some holes on the walls to plug some pins to support the shelves. I fixed the handles, the doors, some magnets, the casters, and then it was finally done! Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. That's it for today. It was such a long project to do, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. If you like this video and would like to support me producing more content, then don't hesitate to subscribe, share, comment and do anything you want with that video. You can also check out over there. I have a bunch of other videos that you might like. I will wish you a good time and until next time, don't forget that if you want something, you can just make it happen. Bye!